Your patience this evening as we are working through a few technical difficulties. I'd like to take a moment to introduce city staff with us in attendance this evening. To my left, City Attorney Van Venerian. To my right, City Clerk Jennifer Stewart, and City Consultant, City Planner Mr. Mario Ortega with McKenna. Tonight is Tuesday, September 13th, 2022, at a regularly scheduled Planning Commission meeting at 7:30. Chairman Wolfson, I'd like to turn it over to you, and then we can call roll.
Thank you. Yep. Can I have a roll call, please?
Novak, O'Rourke,
Here.
Osnick,
Here.
Palmer, Witt,
Here.
Wolfson,
Here.
Robertson.
Here.
Thank you. We do have a quorum present this evening.
Do you have any requests for agenda changes? None? Okay. Approval of the minutes for June 14th. We have a few corrections.
Yes, Chairman Wolfson, I do like to point out a few clerical issues on my end that I would like to apologize for, but the roll call will reflect that Mr. Robertson was in attendance June 14th.
Right.
It also reflects
And reflect.
who wasn't in attendance.
Correct.
Mr. Wolfson.
With all due respect, Chairman Wolfson was not here that.
Right.
I will make those changes. Thank you.
And there was somewhere, I thought I found it, it had Mr. McDonald somewhere.
McComas, you mean?
No, McComas was on the roll call, but I think somewhere in the meeting, I forgot where it was. But in case we find it again, it was one of the motions, I think, something or other. It's a typo, I think, when you're typing.
Sure.
Yeah, it happens. So,
With those changes in mind, I would move
Yeah.
to approve the minutes
As amended?
second?
as amended.
As corrected by the clerk?
Thank you.
Yeah. Second.
Any second? Good. Roll call, please. Or
Novak, O'Rourke,
Yes.
Osnick,
Yes.
Palmer, Witt,
Yes.
Wolfson,
here.
and Robertson.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to audience participation. We have anybody in the audience or that called in, signed in?
Any audience members with us in attendance who would like to speak on the agenda items presented before us before the public hearing? You have 3 minutes to speak. Please state your name and address. If you are attending electronically, please press *9 to activate the raise hand feature. No audience members. Mr. Wilson.
Okay, thank you. Any communications?
No, sir.
Okay. So let's go to the public hearing for PC 300 lot split. Applicant Lorraine Weininger. Do we have any public hearings on that? Nope. Okay.
Well, wait a minute. Doesn't
Plan
matter.
Consultant Ortega, could you please present the case?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. Tonight, we're here to consider a proposed lot split at 1881 North Pontiac Trail. The existing parent parcel, as Oakland County refers to this in the terminology, is approximately 510 feet in width along North Pontiac Trail by approximately 114 in depth, and it totals approximately 1.63 acres. This parent parcel is currently occupied by a dentist office, and in addition to the access drive and parking lot for the dentist office, there is also a second access drive located on the east portion of this parent parcel that provides access to 1885 North Pontiac Trail, which is an office building located to the north of the lot, and it also crosses the municipal boundary and is located in Commerce Township. So the applicant is proposing to split the parent parcel into two, what's termed child parcels. A child parcel A, forgive me, there's a typo in my letter. Child parcel A is actually the east portion of the parent parcel and would be 100 feet in width along Pontiac Trail by 140 feet in depth, and it would encompass and include the access drive to 1885 Pontiac Trail on the north. And then child parcel B would be the remainder on the west side of the parent parcel, measuring 410 feet by 140 feet in depth. This lot is located within the O1 zoning district. First thing we look at when we look at lot splits is to make sure that both child parcels are legally conforming with all our dimensional requirements for minimum area, minimum lot width, and also the probability that there would be ability to have compliance with all our setback requirements. As proposed, this configuration would be in compliance with all our zoning standards. We also look at the Code of Ordinances that has specific requirements with regards to a lot split, and looking at things like, in addition to compliance with the state law, looking at the depth to width ratio, making sure there's access available to this property, and then making sure that it's basically a buildable lot. When we look at those other standards in the ordinance, there's only a few items outstanding that need to be determined, and these are very typical when it comes to a lot split. The first being that we just have to confirm that the applicant provides any documentation that there are no unpaid taxes on this piece of property. We should also have discussions with in confirmation from the applicant to make sure that there isn't any need for any deed restrictions that are going to be recorded on the parent parcel. Ask them if they are going to be applying any. And then finally, one thing we look at is take this opportunity to see if there's a need to establish any easements from the city's standpoint, should there be any type of utilities that are crossing the property in which we don't have a maintenance easement or some other easement that would be necessary for the city to carry out its responsibilities with maintenance for certain utilities. So we will, when it comes to that situation, I just note that the applicant has already dedicated the frontage of Pontiac Trail to Oakland County, because Pontiac Trail is an Oakland County road. And so they've already dedicated both the existing and future right-of-way. And that's important when it comes to properties, just so that way any legacy parcels that have the legal description going to the center line of the road, we want to make sure that those are dedicated to the public, once again, to make sure that all the legal responsibilities can be carried out by those kind of entities, in this case, Oakland County Road Commission. And they actually have done that. So in the end, once again, both proposed child parcels will be legally conforming with all our ordinances and all our requirements. So we would recommend approval of the proposed lot division contingent upon documentation that all taxes have been paid, confirmation from the property owner that there are no deed restrictions going to be applied, confirmation that there's no need for any kind of public easements, and then any other conditions that any other city departments might require. So I will take any questions you might have.
Thank you. Commissioners, have any questions? Is the applicant here? Yeah. Would you like to come forward and present your case?
No, I mean,
Okay.
would just like it to be approved, and I can produce all that documentation that you would need. Obviously, the officers know that I'm up to date with taxes, and like I said, we got the Oakland County easement taken care of, so I'm not sure about the other stuff exactly, but I'm sure we can handle it, and yeah, I just been working on this thing now for almost a year, so I would hope to get it done as quickly as possible.
Okay, thank you. And commissioners have any questions?
Yeah, I
for
do.
today?
This one's for Mario. Are we actually voting to approve this? Because in the past, we've either recommended approval or not approval, but it went to city council for the final judgment on a lot split. Is that still the case?
Forgive me, my terminology in there is jumping the gun a little. You are correct, that you would be recommending approval.
Recommending approval.
Okay. I have a question.
Contingent, yes, recommending approval.
I have a question on, it shows on page 14 apparently, the dimensional standards, lot size, the minimum area, 15,000 square feet. Is that per parcel or is that total?
Per parcel.
Because parcel A is only 14,000.
I believe, let's see,
Move it over a little bit because they take some from parcel B.
yeah, I believe that, let me double check. I thought for sure that, based on the information provided, that it does meet the, yeah, 0.39 acres. Based on my calculations, it's actually 16,900 square feet in area, the 0.39 acres of parcel, of child parcel land.
How are you determining that? What are you using?
So the legal description has all the mets and bounds and angles,
Oh, okay.
and then it also, as required by the state statute, states in acreage
Mm-hmm.
how large the parcel is. It's, it's trapezoidal, so we can't just do length
Right.
times width. So, but it's 0.39 acres, and 1 acre is 43,560 square feet.
Okay.
So 0.39 of that is 16,900.
All I saw was 100 times 140.
Oh, yeah, it fooled you a little because it's a
Oh,
trapezoidal. Yeah, it's not a perfect
okay.
square,
Oh.
so that's the only thing.
That's really the only question I have. Okay, then I'd like to hear a motion to approve the applicants about
I'll make a motion to recommend approval to
Right.
city council with the stipulations that Mario made as far as the taxes and the other items.
all right.
Sure, I'll go ahead and second that. Sure, I'll second that.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Yes, I'd like to hear what the attorney has to say as far as, do we approve lot splits, or does this have to go to council? Does this have to go to council?
I would want to just quickly double-check the ordinance, but I thought the planning commission is the one that approved lot splits.
That was my understanding.
Hasn't been in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm,
Yeah,
I mean, I can, maybe you can pull up the ordinance real quick on Municode on your laptop there. We can just double-check it real quick, but
yes, I
it's
did.
my understanding that the planning commission had final
There's final.
approval authority for lot splits.
I think we did a few before, and that was the case, but there might have been some that
Yeah,
had to go to council.
so I'm not sure, Commissioner Robertson, how long ago you're referring to, but based on the current Muni code, I guess I was correct in the first instance because it does say that final approval is with the planning commission.
Okay. I'll make my motion
Okay.
for final approval then
Do we have a second?
with,
You still second it?
Yes, I'll continue to second that.
Can I have roll call vote, please?
Wait.
Wait.
You don't want to you changed your motion to final approval with a period. You need to make the motion for final approval based on the recommendations of, you need to put that back in the motion, otherwise it's going to read very strange should it become an issue.
Would you like me to read the motion that I have right now?
That'd be a good idea for
Sure.
me.
So for commissioners' reference, the motion on the floor is made by Robertson to approve Planning Commission Case 300 lot split at 1881 North Pontiac Trail, contingent upon consultant city planner's letter dated September 7th for final approval, seconded by O'Rourke.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Me too.
Novak, O'Rourke,
Yes.
Osnick,
Yes.
Palmer, Witt,
Yes.
Wolfson,
Yes,
Robertson.
yes.
Thank you.
thank you very much.
Thanks. So you're all good?
The motion's approved. Your split is approved.
What happens now? I'm asking you the question.
You have to buy us all steak dinner.
There you go.
That's a nice,
The city will contact you just for those final confirmations, and then it will move forward by, with our authorization to go through to Oakland County for the final recording of the lot division.
And then I get two parcel numbers for tax books.
That will be done by Oakland County Equalization Department, yes.
Okay. And then then it'll be done.
Yes.
Contacts her, she just has to provide the paperwork showing there's no.
Correct, yeah. I mean, you've already indicated that you will double check, because I don't have access to the BSNA tax records, but we'll just confirm all taxes are paid. You'll let us know there are no deed restrictions. We'll confirm no city department wants any easements. And then you would just need to complete the paperwork with the Oakland County Equalization. And that's the final step. And they assign you tax ID numbers.
whose turn is it?
We actually submit the paperwork to Oakland County.
But did they give you copies?
We will be submitting the paperwork to Oakland County with all of your documentation, and then they go in and input the information, yes. And there will be 2 new parcel numbers. I don't know how long that's going to take with the county right now. There's a backlog on doing a lot of different things, but you will be assigned 2 new parcel numbers, yes.
Okay, so we have to wait for other people.
The city will contact her.
We will, once it's done and been submitted. Yes, we want to verify what's in the city planner's letter.
Okay, that sounds great.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're on to the next public hearing, PC 301 lot split. Do we have any participants for a public hearing? None? Okay. Mr. Ortega, could you please present the lot split for 301?
Yes. So this is our second lot split of the evening. This is with regards to 100 Decker Road, located just north of 14 Mile. So this existing parent parcel is approximately 445 feet along Decker Road by 200 feet in depth. And this parent parcel is 2.04 acres in area. And this parcel was developed as in concert with the parcel to the east for the Commerce Comfort Care Assisted Living Facility. The parent parcel located in the parent parcel located in the city is comprised of the parking lot and the Decker Road access driveway for the facility, whereas the building and the remainder of the development is located on the Commerce Township parcel side. So in this case, the applicant is proposing to split the parent parcel into 2. Child parcel A would be the northern half of the existing parcel, and it actually would be 415 feet along Decker Road by 200 feet deep. And then child parcel B would be the remaining southern portion, measuring only 30 feet in width along Decker Road and 200 feet in depth. On your submittal documents, you'll note that there is an easement that exists on the southern half of the parent parcel that's 60 feet in width, because that 60 feet is split down the middle of the access drive. So the applicant is asking for a 30-foot segment of the southern half of that access drive for a distance of 200 feet from Decker Road to be split off in its own separate parcel. So this parcel is unique, and there are some extenuating circumstances with it. My letter goes into the same type of review that we would normally do, which is looking at the zoning ordinance and at the lot division requirements for a city lot to be developed in the city that would be buildable, meaning it has minimum lot width, minimum lot area, has access, with the depth ratio, those other type of physical characteristics that we require for a lot in order for it to be approved. And then we go into the other requirements that we also discussed with regard to deed restrictions and easements and those sort of issues. There are also some extenuating circumstances with this that might or might not have impact on this. There was a consent judgment with the larger area, and there's some issues with the actual zoning of the lot. Technically, it is zoned C1 in the city portion. The Commerce Township portion is zoned in their multifamily designation. As I mentioned, there's an easement that exists on the southern half of this property that governs and allows for access to property in Commerce Township south of Comfort Care. And then final issue is that the exhibits currently presented in front of you are a little bit older. They're from 2017, and so the parcel designations for the legal descriptions that you have in front of you don't always sync up with the survey. But another example, so for example, is that this 30-foot proposed split, child parcel B, would provide access to what's labeled as parcel B in Commerce Township. Once again, it's in Commerce Township, located south of the Commerce Comfort Care, and it also has frontage on 14 Mile. So in discussions with the attorney for the applicant and discussions with our city attorney, they also brought up the fact that their purpose for this, the applicant's purpose for this, is to correct an issue with the deeded portion of their land. And the applicant can correct me if I'm wrong, but they indicated that the deeded description of the land that they owned on the tax ID number right now is only for the 415 northern feet on Decker Road. They technically do not own the 30-foot segment located within this tax parcel description. And so but they are paying taxes on it because of the tax description actually encompasses this 30-foot segment. With regards to looking at this, and once again, the main thing we look at is buildability of a site. In discussions, we come to the realization that there are other parcels in the city that have this kind of situation. Actually, the parcel we just looked at has the same situation, where you have a portion of the site, what I would say called fronting in the city, and the rear part is being developed in the township. And so it's not unheard of to have this situation, and where they have a portion of their site located in the city and the remainder in the township. And there have been lot splits which allows for these types of frontage parcels to occur. This is unique in that the parcel that they're requesting, child parcel B, the 30-foot wide parcel, technically does not meet our requirements for buildability. However, you're looking at these extenuating circumstances. We believe an instrument that would protect the city's interest would be requiring a deed restriction on the property, the 30-foot by 200-foot segment located in the city, a deed restriction possibly that would be go with parcel B, the parcel in Commerce Township, that would in fact require any conveyance of the parcel to be, it cannot be separated from through sale or rental or anything from the larger parcel that would be developed. So in this case, once again, it's very unique. There are extenuating circumstances. So we would think that that might be a possible solution to this circumstance. Once again, it's something that there are some other recommendations that I have. If you were to recommend approval with that deed restriction, some of those being, number one, the submittal of revised surveys and a legal description that is accurately describes, shows on the survey and labels correctly the parcels. The dedication of the 60-foot future right-of-way of Decker Road. As I mentioned with the previous lot split, that applicant has already dedicated the road right-of-way to Oakland County. In this case, the current legal description goes to the center line, so we would request that a part of the actions the applicant would have to take is a dedication to the city, because Decker Road is a city road, of the 60-foot future right-of-way segment, and then any additional conditions identified by city officials, the primary which would be the deed restriction for that 30-foot by 200-foot lot located in the city. I know that's a unique situation, so I'm ready to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you very much. Is the applicant here, was it Gary Gudmundson? Yes. Yeah, would you like to approach and present your case?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you today. I would point out as well that I have representatives of the owner, 100 Decker Road, here present as well, and they're available to answer questions as well that you may have with respect to the kind of the background dating back to the beginning of the development of this property. As indicated, the purpose for this application was to resolve the discrepancy that exists between the tax assessment description and the legal description for the parcel it's at issue, parcel 054. And as Mario mentioned, the circumstances are certainly unique, as the parcels at issue are part of single larger parcels that extend into Commerce Township. So parts are in the city, parts are in Commerce Township, but they're all part of a single larger parcel. Since the filing of the application, I did provide an updated survey, which I understood was to be included in your packets. And so that's the one I'll be referring to. If you did not receive that, I have copies here as well that I'm happy to provide to you now. But that will help to resolve the question or condition that Mario had indicated in his report. The issue at hand is the fact that parcel 054, as described for tax assessment purposes, is not owned entirely by 100 Decker Road. That 30 by 200 foot part is actually legally deeded and owned by Decker Properties, which is the entity from which the 100 Decker Road parcel was acquired. Prior to the conveyance to 100 Decker Road, Decker Properties owned both parcels A and B in its entirety. And with the conveyance, that 30 by 200 foot section was not included and remained under Decker Properties ownership as part of what is referred to as parcel B. And so while the tax parcel IDs and tax assessment descriptions were updated as for that parcel, part of parcel A and parcel B that are located on the township side, they were not, for whatever reason, updated as for that part of the parcels located on the city side. And in having had a chance to review through Township Planning Commission meeting minutes dating back to the time of the development, 2017, 2018, I think that it's apparent to me that this split that we're asking for now, although it's kind of a little bit odd asking for a split in that it's already owned by two separate parties, but it's apparent to me that it was to be done essentially at the same time or coterminous with the split that was occurring on the township side as part of the development as a whole. For whatever reason, it did not do that, so what we're trying to accomplish is to tie up that loose end now that would have taken place back then in concert with the township's actions. So as a result, of course, as mentioned by Mario, 100 Decker Road has since that time been paying property taxes on property that it does not own. So there's the equitable component there as well. There are a couple of extenuating factors to be considered here, which have been mentioned already, but I would point out in reviewing the land division requirements, the requirements should be applied, I think, to the entirety of parcels A and B, given this unique circumstance, and not just to those portions of the parcels that are located in the city. The Land Division Act speaks to parcels in a situation such as this, it does not, as far as I can tell, call for the standards to be applied only as to that part of a parcel located within one jurisdiction while ignoring the remainder part of the parcel that lies within the other jurisdiction. As I mentioned, going back to the initial time of the development, it was apparent that this split was to occur in concert with the township. But again, it didn't happen. So I think reason would stand that the requirements be applied to the entire parcel, and I would submit that the Child B parcel that's referred to in the report would in effect be the entire parcel B, not just that part of parcel B that's located in the city. Mario referenced the consent judgment, which I think is pertinent and applicable to this case, to this instance. In fact, the paragraph that I read, or the copy that I read is I think, believe the same that the planner has and the city attorney has. But I would point to paragraph 22, which provides that Commerce Township is entitled to review and approve any use applicable to what is a certain particularly described parcel in the document located in the city as if such property were located in the township, applying township ordinances, regulations to said property. It looks to and is apparent to me that legally described portion includes the parcels that we're talking about here today. And I know that looking back to the time of the development when site plans and things were being reviewed, I know that it's apparent that the township took the lead, took the jurisdictional reins, so to speak, in the course of that development, in accordance with the terms of the consent judgment. And lastly, I would note that as part of the permitting process, I understand that there were site plans for the project that were provided to both township and city officials. I know on the city side, there's a lot of discussion back and forth with city engineers as far as traffic studies and the access is concerned, the driveway access. I would point out that the site plans did include that part of the driveway that was being constructed on the 30 by 200 foot portion, which, as Mario pointed out, is subject to a mutual easement agreement. That's for the benefit of the adjoining landowners, a primary purpose of which is to provide the landowners access to Decker Road. And per the approved site plans, that the entirety of that 30 by 200 portion is and was developed for such purposes. So the site plan also depicts the boundaries of the 100 Decker Road parcel, which notably does not include the 20 by 300 foot portion that's included in the tax assessment description, known as parcel 054. And with that, we're happy to take any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any commissioners have some questions?
I'm going to have some questions.
Yeah, okay. I got a couple.
Nobody else have any questions? I'm going to take a break for a minute, and I'll be back.
Okay.
Excuse me. I have questions for you. I will tell you what my question will be. My question is, will you inform this board, as well as the listening public, what the consent judgment is when the case was filed? So there's many people who do not know what you're speaking of. So if you're going to ask us to vote on something, I will also tell you that there was little or no cooperation with the leadership of Commerce Township when all of this went through. So it shouldn't surprise, if you were involved, it shouldn't surprise you. You said at least 4 or 5 times tonight that it didn't get done. That has everything to do with the leadership of Commerce Township.
Okay.
Not the new leadership. We're good.
Sure, yeah. Well, and I will...
It's not good. It wasn't good then. They were jamming it in because they had a consent judgment.
Okay.
Except the consent judgment didn't exactly fix everything.
Okay.
So I got a couple of questions. I've left it for you. Give me a minute. I'll be right back. And I'm sure by saying that question, you may have a few more questions. And then you realize you got to have all 4 votes.
Sure.
And because we don't have a
And I'll-
full thing.
Well, I'll just note that I was not involved in, or privy to
You
what
know,
happened.
even, I would say the same thing even if you were the lawyer. I know that they jammed that process in. They gave, I'm the city manager, and they wouldn't speak. They just want to, we're going to do what we're going to do. So they've left, apparently, your clients hanging with some loose ends because they could. That's been my experience through that old leadership.
Okay.
It's great now. That is signed in my front yard because I live in Commerce.
Yeah,
So I'm going to take a minute,
Good.
and I'll be back.
okay, thank you.
Do you have copies of the new survey, you said?
Yes.
Couple there we can share. We had 200 feet exists all the way down Decker Road. It's been a problem before.
This, I think is this whole thing, is this whole thing.
Yeah, okay, but all this is still 17.
All right, this is the part
I think he's got the
that they're
new
talking about
surveys.
here, I think.
Well, if I'm reading this right, that 30-foot segment that's in Wall Lake that's associated with parcel A, the parking lot,
A1,
then
there's an A1.
that parcel A
Yes.
is the unit, is the care facility.
The care facility.
Correct.
But
And
I think the parts in Walled Lake
And
is,
if this, what I'm seeing is that that never got put in place due to whatever
yeah,
issues that are forthcoming. Anyway,
but I think the city part is A1. There is an A1 to
well,
the left.
they've got the northern, according to his new survey,
Okay,
the one that he says that
Isn't this still 2017?
No, it was recently.
Yeah, this isn't,
provided, and
yeah,
it
27.
says 2017 on it.
yeah. Okay, because I thought I thought you said there was a new one
Well,
completed.
it was newly provided to us by the surveyor for Decker Properties, and I will reconvene with him because I did notice that it's still dated 2017.
Yeah, still.
Yeah, that's the same one that they did put in the packet, so.
Commissioner Osteen,
What
just
they're
for your,
showing on our pad-
just for your information, what it was is, you are correct, they didn't change the date, but there's a note above it that says revised 8/26/2022.
Okay.
So that's how they noted it, but I think as Greg just mentioned, that they will be submitting a
If you look at,
revised.
if you look at the original that we came in our packet, it shows that parcel A parking lot, the split off is the northern portion of the 30-foot,
Right.
okay? Whereas what he's showing here on this, it shows it as being the southern portion of that 60-foot easement. So, my question is, are we dealing with apples and oranges, or are we dealing with potatoes and bananas?
I think you're correct on all 4 instances, because those original documents do reflect more of the 2017 conditions, and then they were noted, they were attempting to do 2 things at once, and that's why your analogy is perfect. So that's why in my letter, I did state that these surveys would have to be updated to clarify exactly what's going on. So the survey that they provided subsequently that's in your packet, I believe is more accurate. I have been reviewing it during the course of the evening for the legal description, so it's a little hard for me to convey with certainty, but the legal descriptions for, as I requested, showing, all right, what is the legal description of property within Commerce? What is the legal description of property within the city? They're better and I believe they're close to accurate, but I can't say that with certainty without taking more time. But if you'll notice on their revised survey that says on the bottom, revised 8/26/2022, parcel A1 is the city property that includes the parking lot. Parcel A is the Commerce Township property that includes the building. And then parcel B1 is the 30-foot southern segment that they would like to be separated from the original parent parcel. So one other thing that I would also be requesting from them is that normally we get is 2 surveys. One, the existing conditions as land is now and as described now. And then 2, land how they want it to be that shows the child parcels. Because they really should have a separate description and survey that shows the entire parent parcel, the whole thing, parcel A1 plus parcel B1 combined with showing that, because that's where it currently exists right now.
Right.
It's parcel A1 plus parcel B1 currently. So they need to have that, and they need to show the tax ID number of ending in 054, and then a second survey that does not have a parcel number on it that would say child parcel A1, the northern half in the city of Walled Lake that is a parking lot, and then parcel B1, which is the southern 30 feet of the parent parcel that is the southern half of the access drive. So documentation needs to be, if it was as requested, normally would answer some of your questions in terms of, once again, apples, oranges.
It also looks to me, Mario, that this parcel A1, it looks like it's meets and bounds also, and they didn't take off for the expansion for us, for
This road
right-of-way?
here,
yeah, for the right-of-way.
That is correct, too.
So
okay.
wouldn't it be counterproductive to
This
have
one is the community.
that little
what do you call it?
dinky portion, that 30-foot by 30-foot,
Care, and this is.
Yeah.
split off as dedicated to the city?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a checkerboard.
Correct. You are correct. And so the correct way would be then, as you just correctly noted, the future right-of-way would be quitclaim deed to the city. And I believe in those instances, whenever we've done them in the past,
B1, right here.
we usually have them approved by council, and then they go submitted to Oakland County. And I believe the documentation that's necessary for that is sufficient as long as it shows the right-of-way description.
See how C.
And so a right-of-way description, I'm not sure if it includes Mets and bounds,
It should
but
only be this.
usually I think they are, equalization is acceptable of having tax parcel ID number,
This is common.
give them the number, and then 60 feet of right-of-way from the center line of Decker.
Mario, hold up.
B doesn't affect us. A doesn't affect
The
us.
chairman's having his own private discussion over there, so we got too many discussions going on. Let's, one at a time.
Okay, go ahead.
You didn't hear anything Mario said. I hope we don't have to say it again. Mr. Chairman, I would like to hear from the attorney for the applicant again and have that discussion. I'd like him to give us his view of the consent judgment. Also, that would give, let's say, a review of that consent judgment to the listening people, and even to Mario. You weren't that old when that came around, probably, so.
I would just point out that the consent judgment that this lawsuit did not include the city. City was not a party to this lawsuit, so the consent judgment is not binding on the city.
You cut right to the chase, Counselor. That's exactly where I was going to go. A consent judgment applies if you're a party. There's also the discussion. So having said
Yes,
that...
I don't think the consent judgment really has a whole lot of impact legally in terms of our job, in terms of what we're trying to do. It may place some requirements on the current property owners in terms of getting Commerce Township approval for uses or things that they want to do on the property that's located in the city of Walled Lake, but it doesn't the city was not a party to this litigation and this...
And what was the date of the consent judgment?
You know, I don't have a copy.
There's only one council member around who was around probably when that happened.
That was not me.
Actually, it was the mayor, I think, so.
Copy I have.
believe you're
is
right.
not-
She may have
not
lived it.
dated. It's referred to as the second consent judgment. I have the text copy of it, but I don't have the
I don't think, I
entered
wanted to make a
copy.
point that the consent judgment,
I'd say-
I think
well,
you made that point. You want to add anything about the consent judgment, Counselor? The date?
Looks like it's a 1982 lawsuit. It's got an 82-24.
I think that's right.
Yeah, it's a 1982 lawsuit.
Well, the next question I have as a voting member of the board will be, you know, what's the rush? This is pretty complicated stuff, and I would agree with the attorney who made the presentation that Commerce Township had left a lot of loose ends. Whatever their intent was, I'm not sure. It's not the applicant's fault, perhaps, but they jammed it in. There was little or no cooperation with administration. The arrogance of that whole process is stunning. And so they're leaving the applicant in a jam. So I'm not looking to deny that, but any vote up here kills the project. But do we need more time for the people here to consider it so that we don't get a no vote? If we want to help and try to tie up those loose ends, but it's a lot more complicated than a loose end. You know, I think it is.
Yeah, it
So-
sounds like some additional survey work and legal descriptions are needed, as indicated by the city planner, particularly with respect to the descriptions of the resulting parcels, absent the current Decker Road right of way.
What's the rush in tying up the loose ends?
I think one of the keys to this is, and it was something that the planner touched on, is getting some type of instrument that would marry this 30 by 200 foot strip to parcel B, so that they couldn't be conveyed independently. And if that happened, then that resolves, I think, a lot of the buildability concerns, because once it's married to parcel B, then you can look at the whole thing, the entirety of parcel B, and say, yeah, well, that's obviously a buildable parcel. You know, there's only one little tail that happens to be located in the city that's not buildable standing alone, but if it's part of, and that's the problem, it's not currently part of parcel B. It may currently be under common ownership, but it's not in any way legally tied to parcel B. It could still be, it still, in theory, could be conveyed independently. So we need an instrument of conveyance that ties this parcel B1 to parcel B. That's one thing we need, and then obviously we need the revised legal descriptions as well.
I think the board, we should consider tabling this until that kind of work is done. I don't want a motion by the board that denies it without working through it. It takes one member here because there's only 4 of us. And I think one vote no, or not.
The attorney, I think maybe he was indicating he had some comment.
The issue for me, and I'll let you speak, is it's going to fall to my staff to try to sort out what was said here. I would much rather we vote on what's already here, not about what's supposed to happen and reviewed by the clerk and the assistant. And no, we need to have the documents in front of us that marries the parcel, just like you said. That's a much easier vote for me. Right now, it's a tough call. If it's just loose ends, there shouldn't be a big hurry here. And we should be able to table that till we get documents we need. Everything is packaged. Our consulting planner is happy. More in particular is the city attorney's happy. And lastly, it's important that the city management is good with what they've done. And this board could vote then without any concerns that they were getting the city in a mess.
We have a question. Can you ask a question?
That's the chair. That's like, I have a question for Mr. Ortega. parcel A1 and B1 are walled lakes, am I correct?
Correct.
Correct. So this document now, this survey is showing B1 part of C. Is that correct?
Well, their intent would be that B1 would remain independent and because it would be developed with actually parcel B in the township. And so as Attorney Benarian mentioned, for the city's best interest, some type of conveyance that would marry B1 with B would ensure that B1 does not get tied to C or get sold separately or something like that. So having something in front of you that shows that the applicant is going to be moving forward with that, B1 being developed with parcel B, not anything else.
I think that's what the city
Right
attorney
now-
said.
Right now,
And
though,
that's a lot easier vote than
Yeah.
what you're asking for people to do tonight.
yeah, now the same thing with A and A1. Are those
I'm
two
sorry.
connected now?
The applicant would like to,
Yeah,
speak.
Yes, they are. A and A1 are connected because A1 actually includes the parking lot and actually even the canopy entrance for the Comfort Care building
Right.
on parcel A. So they are,
That's already been connected when they developed the building?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. So right now, because I remember this other parcel, C and B, was where they dug up everything for the 14-mile road and all that, and they wanted to do some others, the water system. So now they want to tie that all together in a combination thing.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Yes, you had a,
If I could just, in terms of the,
Could you approach the podium,
Speak
please?
up. I don't hear well.
No, thank you.
He wouldn't be the only one, but...
I just want to help clarify in terms of the layout of these parcels. The copies of the surveys I gave to you, the orange represents the current deeded legal description for 100 Decker Road, who is the applicant. The green area is the current deeded legal description for the Decker Road property. So B1 is a part of parcel B.
Correct.
A1 and A2 together are parcel A. I just don't want there to be any confusion where we're talking about the marrying of B1 with B because they're already a single parcel of property. But for tax assessment description purposes, B1 is included with my client's parcel on the city side, which is identified as A1.
Okay, I would just need to take a look at whatever document that you have
Yes.
that you believe marries B1 to B.
Yeah,
Because my understanding is that the owner parcel B simply retained ownership of a portion of the original parcel A.
the owner of parcel B used to own all of parcel B and parcel A.
Right.
And they conveyed parcel A to my client.
But they did not convey the south 30 feet of the former parcel A. That ownership
Correct.
would have been retained by the owner of parcel.
The diagonal lines there are representative, that's the easement area itself. So just so you're not confused by that.
it's a little
Okay.
road going down.
Correct. And so parcel B, you can look at it, so the owner of parcel B owned all of parcel A and parcel B. They conveyed effectively the north 415 feet of their parcel to our client, thus retaining all the remainder of what is shown as parcel B. I believe last week I had emailed to you the vesting deeds for each of these properties, which I think you'll find reflects on a meets and bounds basis these
Right.
these two
But the 30 by 200-foot strip, the south 30 feet of the easement, which would include parcel B1, that used to be part of parcel A, correct? That's why it needs to be split off.
No,
If it was
did
part of
not.
parcel B, it wouldn't need to be split off from parcel A.
No, it did not. It was not part of parcel A, which was conveyed to my client. So that's why we say there's a discrepancy between the tax assessment description, which would indicate that my client owns both A1 and B1, and the deeded legal descriptions. Pursuant to the deeded legal description, my client only owns parcel A1. Parcel B1 is owned by the owner of parcel B as part of parcel B.
I understand that. And the owner of parcel B used to also own parcel A and conveyed it to your client.
Correct.
When the owner of parcel B owned both parcels, were they separate parcels, or was it just all one?
It was all a single parcel.
It was all one contiguous parcel?
Yep, that's correct.
I understand, okay.
Yep.
Okay, I think another...
Does that clear that up?
Thank you, everyone. Gentlemen, first, one of the things you guys asked was...
Could you state your name, please, and also address?
My name is Hamza Sikandar. So one of the questions that was asked earlier, I think by Mr. Dennis, was, what is the rush? Just sort of like you said, we have been through hell and back with Commerce Township, trying to deal with it. It's been a mess. We have been continuously dealing with it. We have some transfer work which we were doing with the bank financing, and different things happen, and then this popped up, and this has held up multiple people. So we don't mind in whatever is needed, surveys, accurate descriptions, we're all for it. We are in favor. All we ask today is that there is a substantial monetary loss that's happening to us as owners, and as a result, if we can file, if the gentleman would consider a motion of contingent on the city attorney's satisfaction of the surveys and the proper legal documentation to be passed, I don't know if there's a motion like that can go. Something along those lines is what I would recommend, because as he said, this parcel is already fully developed. We're not looking to develop anything. If anything, whenever the other owners, parcel C owners or parcel B owners, develop their parcels, this actually helps the city of Walled Lake, because they don't have to grant another access. We have fully built the access. There's a recorded easement. We're taking care of it. It's under the land rights that we have recorded that we're going to be responsible for it. However, for official legal purposes, when this information went in, that's when Gary, our attorney, discovered that this was an error out there, sitting out there, and hence then we contacted the city's attorney. We were told to come to this meeting, and it's been a few months. We've been waiting for this already, so hence I request if you guys would consider potentially doing some sort of motion contingent on us providing surveys. We are all for whatever the city needs to get it accomplished. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I think you did a really good job of explaining his position. You did answer a good question there. There's a monetary loss associated with that. I think the city attorney figures into it, and he's sitting right over there. He's also the attorney for this board. I'm also management. So whatever we do tonight will fall on his shoulders, my shoulders, and my staff's shoulders. We may be able to craft a motion that allows and if it passes here, that lays it on your table and my table and staff, and still get it done without having to wait a month. How difficult is that, Mr. Attorney?
We absolutely can do that. You could grant it conditional upon the additional submittals referenced by the city planner, subject to review and approval by myself, the city attorney, and city management and staff.
I would vote for that.
All right.
So we're not holding them up. That means that the board is going to hand it over. That won't be the first time you did one quite like that, but this is pretty complicated. That whole commerce thing. Did you own the process when it went through commerce? Wasn't that experience interesting?
I would,
We found it interesting, too. They didn't bother consulting very well with management over here. Mario, did you ever get any real calls, or?
Me, no.
Huh?
No.
and we,
Amazing how that is, that you did a whole project that they were going to do that, and they never bothered contacting our planner, they never bothered contacting the city clerk, other than we're building stuff and pay attention because we're the leadership here. He's gone now, by the way.
unfortunately, you
He's
are
gone. We're going to fix your
absolutely
problem.
right.
We're going to fix your problem.
Thank you.
Sit down.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Okay.
Who's got that motion? Who remembers that? The city attorney got it.
I'd like to make a motion for case PC 301 lot split for address 100 Decker. And I'd like this motion to read that this will be approved upon condition of additional submission by the city planner with review by city attorney and staff, and this would include surveys that include existing conditions and how they would like the land to be divided, which would include marrying A and B1 to B. Is that
Sounds right.
It's not only submitted, but approved by the city attorney
submitted and
for
approved?
legal sufficiency. And
Conditioned upon additional submittal and approval by city planner with review by city attorney and staff.
And approved by city.
And approved by city attorney and staff.
you're going to get 3 new approvals. You got approval by the consulting planner, city attorney, city management. That will work. Would that work for you, Counselor?
Yes, that would work.
We're not marrying A and B, though.
Yeah, that's,
No, that's,
No,
yeah, I was just
no.
going to point out, B
Okay.
and B1.
B1, excuse me.
B1 and B.
B1 and B.
You want to be, right.
Separate, two separate owners.
Remove A, B1 and B,
Yeah.
correct.
If there was
A and
never a
A1
division, I'm not sure
are
how
done
that.
already.
Correct.
This is a timeline. of-
Okay, is that approved, or is that allowable to have that motion stated, recorded as I just stated it, or do we need to?
I think it'd be good to have it read back so we make absolutely sure that we're positive on what we're voting on.
Okay. What I have is motion made by Commissioner O'Rourke to approve Planning Commission Case 301 for a lot split contingent on submittals by the applicant that were recommended by the city planner, subject to review and approval by the city attorney, city manager, city planner, and city staff, also to convey and marry parcels B and B1, and also surveys stating the existing conditions and how the land will be divided with surveys, updated surveys.
That's how I'd like the motion to present.
Does that sound,
Do we have a second?
That's close.
That close enough?
is that workable?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
All right, I'll support it.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Robertson. Sure. Novak, O'Rourke,
Yes.
Osnick,
Yes.
Palmer, Witt,
Yes.
Wolfson,
Yes.
Robertson.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
That was good. Okay.
That was an interesting case.
Any other, any
Well,
unfinished business?
yeah, it was a soup sandwich is what it was.
No, I'm not making that up. They just ignored us, that we would try.
I know, I know,
They wouldn't-
that's commerce.
That's
They ignored the hell out of us.
Even though it's very clear that it
Well,
needs,
they did the same damn thing as far as the snail trail.
Okay. Any unfinished business?
Nope.
Nope. Any new business?
Name over there? No, no, you know.
No
what
new
you
business.
get. Whatever you get to that lady right there, Ms. Jakeway. That's the city clerk, but get it to her, and we'll get it to everybody, make sure.
Any
it's
comments?
Signed off, so.
I think we did a good job.
I know, they've never, ever,
Haven't had one like this.
they never, ever.
that was good.
Yeah, that was good. Okay.
Take it out, so I
Is there a motion to adjourn?
We're
I'll
done.
make that motion to adjourn, by the way.
And I'll second.
Okay. All approved, say aye.
Aye.
We're done.
He left your.